Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast.
Cause it's that time to talk about Bachelorette on our show! Yes, this show provides all the stuff you need to know about this season of The Bachelorette, and if you've missed it, this is the place for you. So before we get talking about The Bachelorette, YouTube, I'm going to need you to go ahead and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new Bachelor content, just like this. And if you just did, oh man, I just gotta say, huge shout out to you. Woo-wee, air horns for you. Oh man, we like to shout out our people, and that's our tribe of people on YouTube that leave comments, our comment crew, the OG crew, Nancy Drew crew. We got Chelsea Allen in the building this week, Kathleen Kent, Marion SP, returning into comments. We got Marty, we got Beth Wanger, we got Sunny Days Double O, and new to the gang, we got WB Fishy 2010, Jerry Dancer 3769. Whoa! And then Wendy Fraley 3854 and RS 13256. If that's real, people, why do you let me know in the comments? Why do you have so many numbers? What did the numbers mean to you? Some of them make sense.
Maybe that was the only way they could have their names that they wanted, is they had to add numbers, I
guess. Well, whatever you had to do to leave a comment, we appreciate you. You can get a shout out on this show too. All you got to do is leave a comment below and subscribe to us. Let us know you did. We'll shout you out on the next episode, like we just shout out all these wonderful people. And seriously, it's great because each week, I feel like there's more people hopping into comments, feeling comfortable, making that tribe look bigger and bigger. And, we're almost, I think, at 200 subscribers. I think that's incredible. We've done over 100 subscribers in the last year. I don't know if that sounds like a lot to y'all, but to make anyone just click on the subscribe button is really hard. Just think about all the videos you watch on YouTube and how many people
you don't subscribe to those channels. Yeah.
So, if you're one of the people that subscribe to us, leave that thumbs up. Let everyone know you like it. And if you haven't subscribed, I would recommend doing it.
Get on it.
We got some fun things in the future coming up, some new stuff. But, this is kind of locked in with our weekly Bachelor recap of Bachelor Nation or whatever show's on right now. So leave a comment. We got comment of the week this week, actually, and it comes from the homie Sunny Days Double O. And I just really enjoyed this comment. So this comment said, you do a good job of taking it seriously, but not too seriously. They're right. Yeah, I feel like that's just right on the nose with us. We like any job, you have to put a little bit of seriousness into it. But we're still talking about a TV show, a reality TV show.
Reality TV show.
Yeah, I mean,
with its problems and its triumphs.
It's triumphs,
those
its glory,
are fewer.
its problems, whatever it is, we're here for the ride. I think that's really attributed to the years of experience of us doing this podcast. We're talking
and just
about,
of watching the show.
Yeah, watching the show, but don't let our subscribers numbers, which I do appreciate, fool you. We have been doing this podcast thing for a very long time. So in the beginning, we might have taken it a little too seriously. Now I think we have a good vibe on the shows and how to discuss them. We never want to offend people here, or we never want to, hurt people's feelings. We're just kind of just talking in the day of the show. Sometimes a year will go by and I see that person on another show or doing something on social media, and I'm like, I can't remember why they were the villain, but they seem like good people. So, I just think that's kind of what that comment meant to me. It's kind of we're, even if we say something, bad about someone, it's not really personal or anything. We're just we're just talking, we're just people on the internet talking heads for y'all to hopefully give you some entertainment. So Sunny Days 00, thanks for that comment. And speaking of our podcast, this is the time where I like to plug the full podcast. What you're seeing on YouTube right now is just the Future Bachelor. It's just the Bachelorette section of our podcast that we put on here for our niche. But, the full podcast has pop culture stuff going on, and we talk about our lives, what's been going on, new music, new movies, stuff we're watching, our family, shout outs. So definitely, if you want more of this experience, check us out wherever you listen to podcasts. It's Future Bachelor, baby. So with all that being said, Veronica, why don't we get into this week's episode of The Bachelor? We're in week 4, night 4 of The Bachelorette, and it was an episode, that's for sure. Where do we start?
It was a wild ride. So we have changed locations. It kind of dumped that on us at the beginning of the episode, like not any kind of we're going here, we're doing whatever. We're all of a sudden just in Stevenson, Washington, and they're living up the.
They did do it at the end of the last episode, I believe. They said that they're like, we're going to Washington or something at the end of last episode.
I guess maybe I just didn't see that.
Fair enough.
Or I didn't.
I understand that. But yeah, I do remember. I think them saying that. So yeah, now they're in Washington.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember because I watched it really late last week and I watched it late this week, so I probably just didn't remember seeing that part. But yes, they're in Washington. They're living up the mountain flannel sweatery vibes. I have no idea what the temperature is. I would love to know. It's like probably springish when they were filming it, but still.
I mean, I'm guessing it's pretty cold, like, judging from what they were talking about later on in the episode.
I mean, if they're in the mountains, it's always going to be colder, so that would make sense to me, so... Yeah. But, so, it's... The guys are, like, thinking about timeline-wise where they're at in the process, and they're all at the house kind of, like, freaking out about it, being all like, we're this close to hometowns, we're this close to being down on one knee, where, pressure's on, like, we definitely, some of them are like, oh, I need more time, I need whatever. Meanwhile, Brayden is like, I think I have the best connection with her. Some of these people don't even know her favorite color, and he's just getting annoyed by, the Shawns and the Aaron B's just running their own mouths about how they need this time and what they do or don't know, and et cetera, et cetera. But
yeah, and I kind of was feeling Brayden. I'm not gonna lie. Like Brayden he went out on a high note for me because, I understood where he was coming from. I really do. Like he's looking around. He's had probably one of the biggest connections with Charity, so it's like probably definitely more real in his, silo than it is with all these other people that are just like talking like they actually know her, like they're gonna be around for the end and stuff. So. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't it. How does it hit you? Like, doesn't it? To me, it feels annoying.
It feels like a little annoying that I think I was annoyed by the general conversation from all angles because like I get where Brayden's coming from, but I also feel like Brayden's all like look at all this shit that I know that you don't in his own way. So to me, that's also annoying because it's like. All of it feels like I agree that I think he at least was like he's like they're insecure because they know I have a leg up, which I think is true. But also I feel like not all of them are really like speaking to him about their worry about whatever in his connection. So I think he takes some things a little too personally as well. So overall I'm like whatever. They definitely are right about the fact that shit moves fast in this world. I was like, shit, it's week 4, which does mean something. Like this show is only like 6 or to 9 weeks long, but so there I get kind of both sides. I do think that Brayden wasn't lying about anything that he was saying during this opening of the show, but they give us our first one-on-one date card, and it goes to Dotun. I always say his name wrong. And they end up, hopping in a Jeep. He's so tall. They are definitely super comfy together, and Charity says that. And they're doing something that's pushing both of them supremely out of their comfort zone because it's a fear for both of them. And they're going to go bungee jumping off of this tallest bridge in North America. And they end up like doing it twice, which is crazy because they're just like vibing with each other so much. And they're all like, if we can conquer this, why not? Like, let's just do it.
It's like riding a roller coaster. Like, you're kind of like, oh, and then you ride it and it's fun. And you're like, you know, the line is short. You're going to ride it again, you know?
Yeah. You got that fast pass.
Yeah.
You're like, time to go.
Exactly. So, you know, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not too interested in the date sides of these shows too much anymore. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it just really, it's not doing it for me.
Well, you love the drama. I get it. You're looking for the entertainment.
I do.
And when it's a good date with like actually like people that are comfortable and it's like a nice situation, like it is not as entertaining per se as what is happening in meanwhile back at the house where you have Aaron and Joey talking to each other about Brayden and shit, and then Brayden and Xavier talking about stuff, and Brayden saying how he wished that Charity could stop being the Bachelorette for a second and be real with him, which I think is not super fair to Charity because like I think Charity's very real. I don't think Charity's putting on any fronts in any situations. Like I think she's trying to, you know, piece through it the best she can. But I do understand Brayden being all like, I want to, you know, whatever. But I think he's like forgetting what he signed up for in some aspects.
Yeah. I do agree. But this is just like guys talking, like, you know, outside.
They're all just talking.
They're all just talking in the, like, you know, Brayden's in the backyard in the rain just to get away from everyone and just have like a guy conversation, like, you know what I'm saying? So this is not like him like weeping to the camera being like, I wish he was just not the Bachelorette for 1 second. This is him just like venting about the experience. Right. And I think it's like, it's one thing to say, like, you know what you signed up for. Like, I've kind of, like, been doing some thinking about this. You know what you signed up for, but, you know, it doesn't mean that when you get there that you're not going to feel a certain way, you know? Oh,
I agree that I totally get that, but I think we'll get into it a little bit later, but I think, you know, which I think he kind of understands to some degree, and I think Charity tries to meet him there with some of that, but I think he doesn't always meet her where she's at. So we'll get more into that later. But They're talking about that while they're on this date. Charity and Dotun seem to talk a lot about, like, their relationship to race and their communities and, like, get into that shit. He gets the rose. He's definitely a front runner. They just seem like a good couple together.
Yeah,
they seem to really understand each other.
He's in my top.
He's in my top 4 for sure.
I was going to say top 2 because, like...
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's just great. And that's the thing. Like, if I really like the person or if I really don't like the person, they just don't make good dates for me. You know, it's usually the people that are... It's like... that I am like indifferent about and that cause like a little bit of...
You want to learn more. You want to see what's going on.
I want to see the waves. I do kind of like... We'll talk about it the second date and stuff. I enjoyed that date more than I enjoyed this date because
I get that.
Yeah. So you know, there was just a good old time. He's just like really, you know, killing it. He's just being himself, and that's enough for Charity right now. And they had a great date. So we end up getting into the group date.
Yes. So the group date card says, meet me in the woods. They go into the woods in these little scouts of no specific determination. To me, I think they're just child actors because I don't really think they're real, like, scouts or Girl Scouts or anything. But they come to help run the date, and it's a good time for them to sort of assess like how these guys are with kids, and also like the whole idea is like what would they do for survival skills like out in the woods to be a good partner to Charity. So the first thing they have to do.
I want to ask, like, why are the kids like usually little assholes in this show? I don't understand. Like, they make them be like so mean and like.
I loved it.
I get it. I was just making it funny, but it's just funny because it seemed like, yes, they were definitely actors because like the girl had a whole monologue she had to get off right off the top, but yeah, they just seem like little shits, like, you know what I'm saying, like the guy, well, I forgot which one said, like, y'all seem sweet, but y'all are little devils. It's like, what, you guys call little girls devils? It's so funny.
I loved that. I think it might have been, I don't remember. I feel like they all said some stuff, but it was funny. But the first challenge they have to do is gather food for the girls, i.e. Charity and the little girls, and, see who would do a good job. Some of them, like, bring out pretty much, like, woodsy charcuterie plates of things, and they're just doing different stuff. And I forget who, I don't even know who, like, did well for that first part. But then the second part was they asked survivor skill questions about, like, who, like, what would you do to keep Charity warm? What would you do? Like, kind of like a lot of these things. It's like, well, how are you going to answer this? That makes sense. And
this
like,
group,
also,
they suck,
like,
to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it.
I didn't like it. And I also don't think anybody really won. And so the whole goal was to get to the kissing tree and be like the best, like, scout. And the one thing that everybody, loved was that, when they had to ask, like, who of this group would you eat first if you needed to for survival, and everybody said Brayden, and Brayden said Shawn, which was interesting because he had more immediate beef with Shawn than with Aaron B at that moment for some reason. Honestly,
I felt like that was a little bit of bullying, and I was hoping that moment would backfire. Like, I really do. I was hoping like the girls would end up picking Brayden because, like, oh God, it's something that irks me about this show that's happened. I've talked about it in the past about other seasons about how they try to make people into villains that aren't villains. Like, and I'm talking about the guys in the house bullying people into being the villains.
Villain.
And it's like, he might have like some different things about him and stuff like that, but like, just because all the guys like team up against one person doesn't make that person bad. That literally shows like insecurity of everyone else that's like seeming to just blame their, not getting a connection with like, or attention from Charity on Brayden. And it's happened episode after episode. So it's just like, by this episode, I've realized that like, if we were going to see something bad about Brayden, would have seen it already. And
I think we have seen like some cracks in the surface, and I think Charity has seen those because
like, you know what I'm saying? He's 24 years old. Like,
I know. Well, and I guess I think this also speaks to like what is like her type, or like what is she going for or whatever. And I think even throughout this episode you could see that she kind of gets over it, because like even during this date when the little girls are like, being force feeding questions, being like, who do you think is the smartest, like blah blah blah, and she said not Brayden. And it's because like Charity knows that like he's kind of a goof, he's kind of an idiot, like he's not like. And he even is like admitting, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing whatever. Like,
I thought she was being like cute about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And obviously I feel like even young girls can kind of like I'm not saying attracted, but like there's something about Brayden that they thought was funny and cool. Like, like, I don't know. That was the impression I was getting.
Well, I think because their maturity levels are closer to each other than not.
Fair enough. But I mean, it's just like, he just has that kind of like
he's just a very fun
he has
guy,
a light about him that like even like a young person could see, like, what I'm saying. Well, most young people would be able to see that more than an angry adult, like, what I'm saying. So
well,
I was hoping they would pick him as like the winner for this date.
And Aaron B wins for some reason. Honestly, I don't think I saw anything that proved that any of them should have won this date, TBH. Like, it seems like none of them did well. Like, I don't know how they picked Aaron B to win. I think it was just a pick to, like, provoke kind of the things that happen next about, kind of like reigniting that beef between Aaron B and Brayden. It felt stupid.
Maybe
I was
because
a little
he
mad,
brought the frog. And
I
you
guess,
can
but she wasn't even
frog-
into that.
I know, but yeah, they were like, ew. And he still wins.
I don't know.
So I was just hating this episode for the fact that Aaron B was like, I don't know. I'm not feeling Aaron B.
I thought it was dumb. And so then they're like at the little after party, and Brayden's like listening to these other dudes talk, and he's saying that he feels less naive than somehow some of how the other ones are talking and stuff, which I kind of agree with. And then Aaron starts promoting this whole idea of him being pessimistic and like bringing the mood down and doing whatever. And they kind of like get into this whole debate over like who has good connections, what that means, and like what else does he need to actually feel like this is worth it to him, and blah blah blah, because like they are saying that he's wasting Charity's time, and he's all like, well, this is X, Y, and Z. And meanwhile, Charity is like walking up to meet up with the dudes and kind of like steps and listens for a second.
Which I hate. I hate when they do that. Like, to be honest, it's like, it's really not fair. Like, he got cut off like from his thought. She's like coming in and being like, what are you guys talking about? No one's going to stand up and be like, well, this person be blah, blah. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Like, no one wants to do that when she walks in the room and stuff. So it just kind of
right. I know, they all kind of shut down.
Yeah. And he's like in mid conversation. So it's like, he's the one that has. So I didn't like that. Like, I feel like they've done that a couple times now where Charity walks in the middle of like guy conversation. And it just like, it turned into this thing where like he went and talked to her, and I don't know. At this point, like I said earlier, I think he had the strongest connection with Charity. So what's going through his head is not the same stuff that's going through other people's heads.
Right.
They don't have the same connection and the same time that Brayden's had with her. So with that being said, he might even be thinking like, I mean, yeah, she's cool. Like, I mean, essentially he self-eliminated himself, right?
Sort of. I mean, like, I think he goes in and they talk, and he's saying how he's been down in the dumps ever since getting to Washington. And like, kind of, once again, the thing that I think he does wrong in this situation, he kind of like puts it back on her, saying that it's like kind of like her fault that this is happening.
I'm gonna step up and say it kind of is her fault. Like, dude,
I don't think so.
It is, because like, the problem is that she keeps letting this Brayden stuff, like, what would really have made like an awesome move for Charity for me would have been like if she's like, hey guys, like, I like Brayden, so stop ganging up.
But I think the thing is, she was trying to prove to him, she's like, it shouldn't matter what other people, like, because the thing is he keeps coming to her saying that, like, he's not getting whatever from her. He's like, well, what I've said to you, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, but, like, what do I need to prove to you that, like, this is enough? Because then why do I keep hearing from other people that you're expressing that, like, you're worried about this process and, like, what's going to come next? I think that's the issue I have with how he handled it, because it's like,
I think it's fair, though. Like, I think it's fair for, like the lead, like, for him to have to date one girl that's dating a bunch of people that he's living with, that's one thing.
Right.
And for her to be able to be like, on her uncertainty side, she's dating all these guys, but has this one that she likes that doesn't feel like, it doesn't like think like. I thought his feelings were honest and true. Like, he's like, look,
I mean, yeah,
I can't help it after at the end of every rose ceremony
that they're facts.
Well, I'm just saying, like, at the end of every rose ceremony, there's this dark cloud over Brayden that I don't think necessarily is all his fault. And well, yeah, I agree. Then you got people like Aaron B who are out here like acting like a knight for her or something like that. And
yes, I don't like Aaron B. I don't think what Aaron B is doing is founded correctly in like any sort of real thing. But I think, Brayden pretty much is like, I don't think I can get there. And like, she's all like, well, if that's not enough for you, like, I can't, which I get on her side. She's like, I can't keep fighting to tell you how I feel about you for you to then keep saying shit around other people that then gets back to me. She's like, not that I believe what other people are like, but like, I can't keep hearing that from other people, which that is also on these other people for saying shit. Like, they shouldn't even be saying that. I agree. But I don't really think it's on her to have to consistently like, you know,
Give
go
it
to him,
validation.
which she's already been giving him validation. And so like it's like, how does she have to keep doing that? Like if what she's doing isn't enough, then I think he pretty much, then he has to go. She's like, anyways, like if this isn't gonna work, like it's not gonna work. I'm not gonna, she's been too stressed about it. Like to me it's like, why keep fighting over something if like it's not gonna be enough? And I think in general, then I think they had a lot of chemistry, but I don't think they were the right match because she can't keep forcing that validation when she also needs some herself, you know?
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of like when Brayden leaves, like without like what the guys want and what, you know, Charity thinks she wants and stuff, to like kind of have like some air to breathe. It's not going to get easier or less hard, you know? Like it's going to, somebody else becomes the villain. The actual villain will probably like rear their head actually like immediately because people realize, oh shit, like Brayden wasn't, you know, that bad. Like he just, you know, they're just hating on him because she likes him the most. And to me, it just started seeming like Brayden actually wasn't 100% about Charity. And that's not like, I mean, how would you know until you meet somebody and you get some time with them and stuff? You know, at the end of this, I got to marry this girl. Like, you know, I don't even know if I like her 100%, you know? I can't get her out of this whole situation and to get to really know her and stuff. So, you know, I don't know. I just kind of, so he ends up being like, all right, well, I'm going to go. And he gets in. And there was some weird stuff where like he was saying like they didn't say everything they wanted to say, or there seemed like there was more that had to been said. I don't know what happened when he was like leaving or something.
Something like that. But then he also did say, like, as he was leaving, that, you know, he's like, I kind of talk too much and I know that would get me in trouble and whatever. And I think, I'm like, I love the self-awareness.
Yes.
Because like I'm like, that's true. You opened your mouth too much about shit that you should have just, you know, kept to yourself because it was going to be used against you, which is the shitty situation about this show. Is like, you want to be able to vent and express your feelings and whatever, but like,
but for
these
him to
dudes
be able to say that in the moment, I think shows huge self-awareness. I think he was being himself. Like people were just trying to dim his light. Like that's the way I look at it, man. They were just trying to dim his light. And I just, cause he just was like fun, and like people were not like vibing with that, and it sucks. Like it really does. Like I feel like I have a good judge of character. You know, this guy, we're talking about someone that's like, you know, he's a veteran, right? Like, you know, he's done things that are like noble, and he's just kind of growing, and I felt like I think he was in the army or something like that. Like I
don't remember that, but maybe.
I'm pretty sure he was.
I mean, he's a travel nurse. So
yeah, well, regardless, I think like he seemed like a good person. Like there was not once where he said anything disrespectful about anybody. You know, even the people that were like,
he just said bro too many times for my liking. But like, you know, I just think all in all, I don't think the juice was worth the squeeze for their relationship. I just don't think they were a good match. TBH, it seemed like it was too much stress on both parties, and it's like at that point, he's going to do great in Paradise. I can't wait to see him in Paradise. And I think it was crazy. I thought it was wild, like watching on like Instagram and stuff, the promos for this episode where they like literally were like lining up all these actual villains from past seasons and like and then like putting like, and now we've got a new one, and it was like with Brayden, and I was all like, I'm like, they're really pushing this narrative, which we've both agreed that like I don't think he's a villain. I think he does he makes the other guys like act like idiots because they were insecure around him, and then I feel like the second he leaves, everybody else is chill, they're feeling great. Charity's like feeling better. They all get to feel better, but it's like I don't think he was a villain. I don't ever think he never like.
There's a difference between a villain, like someone that's like we hate, you know, and then there's the other like side of what's the another name for someone that people gang up on and target, you know, like I don't know what that name is, but that's the other.
I think he's an antagonizer.
Yeah,
I definitely think he's an antagonizer, but like I don't think that inherently makes him a villain in this situation.
I just think like, you know, the show has like, and it's the producers or the way they edit it, like we'll pick, like sometimes in a season there's a narrative of like people just ganging up on one person because that person has Riz.
Brayden
that person has Riz.
is good. He has Riz.
Yeah.
He has Riz.
I mean, because like
Brayden's good. He's good TV.
Like who was on Rachel and Gabby's season that like he switched?
Logan. No.
Was it Logan?
What's his name? Logan?
Yeah, I think it was Logan.
I think it was Logan.
Like I liked him. Like this reminds me of that kind of situation where like they try to make him a villain and he wasn't. Like,
and he was an antagonizer too. I think it's definitely like similar ideas.
Yeah.
Where they know the right things to get under people's skin and like they do it and then they're like kind of like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, well, like who's the shrimp girl? I forgot. Shayna, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think she was a true villain. Shanae. I don't think she was a true villain, but like everyone, like she just like at one point stood out, and everyone just like didn't like her. I didn't look at her like she was a villain.
You think she's hot, so
yeah. I mean, there's that too. I mean, attractive people. Like I think Brayden's attractive. You know, unconventionally maybe, but like I think
he's a very conventionally attractive face. I think he just needs to pick an accessory and stick with it. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. As a man that likes accessories, I've been wearing like 3 necklaces, and I used to be like a not necklace person. So
I know, but like it's like we love a necklace stack. It works. But
I appreciate you.
But anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So he ends up leaving, and the guys are fine, like you said, and I don't know. Charity.
Joey gets the group date rose for some reason. I don't really know why. Nobody knows why.
I mean, Joey's.
I mean,
Are they trying to make him the Bachelor?
I don't know. Joey's a front runner for sure. I don't know if he's getting the Bachelorette, but he's definitely up there, and everybody's chilling. And so now we're on to.
She seemed pretty upset. She seemed pretty upset. Everyone's trying to console her. Like I always hate that, like when a moment happens like that and all the guys like say the same thing, and she's like, can we just talk about something else? They're like, oh, you're so brave, and the way. But
she said that she did feel very supported, and that like everybody like kind of made her feel more at ease. So I think, and she got a lot of makeouts in, so good for her.
Yeah, she's the makeout queen, like you said. Anyways, so yeah, where do we go to next?
So then we have our last one-on-one date of this episode, and it's with Xavier, who's a bit of an enigma. Like we saw, he had like a decently long like intro package at the beginning of the season. He definitely he knits, he does whatever. He's definitely like kind of been one of those like nice guys that's been hanging in the wings of the show and has like said some good things here and there, but we don't know a lot about him. And they go to this fruit festival. They're, stomping on stuff. They're bobbing for apples. They're eating different jams. And Charity goes into this date being all like, Xavier seems like great, blah, blah, blah. But like, he reminds me a lot of my ex because of like some of the stuff that he says, just like kind of like really loading her up on compliments and all these different things. And so she's like, I'm trying to suss out what is his deal, because like I want to make sure that he's not just kind of giving me surface level. Yeah.
And I kind of understood that. Like I used to be a kind of person that would give out compliments like that. And I remember like this one girl, like we ended up dating actually, but this one girl, like one time she was all like, I'm like, oh, you're so beautiful. Like you're so pretty. And like, you like do that type of stuff, like you gas them up or whatever. But a pretty girl's like probably hears that all the time. Like, Yeah. And she's like, yeah, but what else? And I just like, it stood out to me for so long. I was just like, oh damn, dude, I've been doing this for so long. Like, why, what else is there about her? Like, what else is there to talk about besides the fact that like, you're so awesome, you're so beautiful or whatever. And then, so I kind of got that a little bit, and it's just kind of like a slick talk, they call it, it's like slick talk. Mm-hmm. And, she obviously is trying to learn from her mistakes, and she's probably had a slick talker in the past, and she's just like, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
This kind of reminds me of my ex. This ex, though, is getting a lot of screen time.
Airtime.
Airtime. Yeah. Foreshadow, is he the person that comes into the show later on, or?
That's sort of what it looked like to me in that preview of the rest of the season. Like, that's sort of the vibe I'm getting, which would be crazy.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't it be the first time?
It's been done before, so I could definitely see that.
Didn't they do it to Becca Kufrin or something?
I think so.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, but he was sweet. Like, he's sweet. And he knits.
And he gets deep with her.
And he knits.
And he knits. And he works out.
Did your ex knit?
Uh-huh.
Did
No.
Like, what I'm saying?
I don't think the cheater had enough time to knit after, around him,
he was knitting up his lies.
Fucking other girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good one, but nothing came to me. But yeah, so, he really saves it at the dinner portion of the night where they actually do get deep, and she's, there's a breakthrough for him. And he talks about, his family and his connection with them and stuff. And she ends up giving him the rose, so he survives another week. Then we get to the cocktail party before the rose ceremony, and what do we got?
Everything's going great
laughing?
at this, because the editing and how I was losing my mind during what later on gets into this, because it's just the way they set this up was cinematic gold. Because so they're definitely everyone's we're feeling great going into this date party, everybody's having a great time. Erin's giving her a massage, Dotun's giving she gives Dotun a little girl pic of her to be this was me when I was little, blah blah blah. She's making out with Tanner in the woods, everybody's having a great time, and they're not a care in the world, Brayden's gone, which is which of course, because we watched the show and we've seen the previews, we know his ass is about to be walking through the door, and they do this so dramatic, playing this music, because the whole thing is that they're in this area where it has the most Sasquatch sightings. So they literally set it up as he's marching through the woods in his flip-flops with his fucking scarf on and his dangly earrings, and he blows through the door and just stands and watches Charity make out with John for a while before John sees him, and Charity turns around and she's what the fuck? And then because the other dudes had already seen him walk in, and they were losing their mind, and it was hilarious, because they're all shitting on him when he gets back into the room and stuff, and they Shawn is all he's wearing a scarf and whatever, we see him wearing a scarf, and the producer is all you're wearing a scarf, idiot, what are you
He's
saying?
yeah, but this is cashmere.
It killed me. It just everything that they set up for this whole scene was so hilarious and good. I was losing my mind watching it. It was just so
it was definitely
funny
set up. The way the guys got so angry, it's they blamed it all on Brayden. It's you don't think the producers waited for the perfect moment to send him in while she's making out with someone, to send him through the room where he probably he's just dude, can I just go to the airport? They're yeah, one last stop though. And they're make him march in there and say his piece. All he did was just be look, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And
yeah,
I don't know, I don't know if
they definitely did it for the drama, and I think it was really unnecessary, but it was hilariously done.
Yeah, I don't know though. I feel I didn't know how to feel about it, because I felt Charity felt, I don't know. To me, it seemed like she was coming off she was embarrassed that somebody left that she liked, and now he's coming back and trying to apologize, and I don't even necessarily think he was trying to come back. He was just trying to Do you think?
No, you could tell that was all organized by the producers. You could tell this was very much so a moment that was manufactured. And I could tell, I think Charity honestly was kind of pissed by the manufactured moment in general because, like, she's just trying to enjoy her fucking cocktail party, do what she needs to do. And then it becomes like a whole thing where John wants to talk to him before he leaves. And, like, I feel like John and him do sort of like they're trying to have like a calm conversation. John's just trying to tell him how he feels, and like
which John was
Brayden,
like acting stupid too. Like I was just like,
I know,
dude.
but he was at least trying to talk to him like just man on man. Them just talk to each other and like whatever. And then Aaron B and Shawn and everybody else comes out and they're like bitching him out, and John's all like, this doesn't involve you two. Like, can I just talk to him? Like, they were, like, already fine by that point while everybody else rolls out, and they're all like, fuck you, dude, you're not a man, you're whatever. And it's like, that was so unnecessary. Like, they could have been totally fine. And
yeah, I didn't like how
no.
Aaron B, like, tried to step in front of him and stuff like that. Dude, you're going to get knocked out. Like, if this was, like, not on camera and stuff like that, don't be getting in my face telling me I got to apologize to anybody. Like, you know, and
I know, that's such bullshit. Aaron B was just, once again, Aaron B's placing himself in places that he doesn't need to be, doing shit that he doesn't need to do because he's like a martyr. Like, no one gives, like, John was handling it by himself. Like, no one else gave a fuck, like, until Aaron B, like, got in there and was, like, making a whole fucking fuss. I'm like,
yeah,
let him get in his stupid van and go home.
They're all hypocrites because, first of all, like, for John to go home, like, we're cutting to the chase here, but John gets sent home.
Right.
You know, it just makes you look stupid. Like, why even say anything? Like, if just go out with like grace. Like, don't show.
I think John's fine with what he said because, like,
no,
I think
dude,
he was right.
It's just like, dude, like, oh, you steal my time, like, blah blah blah. It's like, it just means.
I thought he was just talking about it, like, in a way of like being like, hey, like, you know, this is what this means, but like. Whatever. I thought they were chill by the end of it. I think this honestly talks more about Charity's taste in men. I don't know why she fucking sent John home based on how she was with him.
I know,
and
she
whatever.
had that long makeout session, and then you send him home, like.
And then you send him home.
It's not a good look.
To me, that's on Charity. I think that looks weird on Charity because I'm like, why are you sending John home and keeping Shawn? Because, like, what's the deal there? Like, to me, that makes no sense. But
yeah. I mean, this just being a lead doesn't mean that you're like a good picker, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
and I just felt bad for Brayden. Like, I felt like, you know, yeah, he was him against the house, and he was still like, he never said anything that like got out of line. Like, you know, he was like, I'll kick your ass, dude. Like, you know, and I think he would. Like, I do think.
No, yeah.
So. He just wanted to leave, and it was whatever, man. Like, I just felt bad for Brayden. Like, I felt like he was getting kind of bullied. And
yeah, it was just bullshit there at the end. But so they do the rose ceremony. There was only 3 roses to give out besides the ones that they had already been given out. And Aaron gets the first rose again, which, okay. Then Tanner, then Shawn gets the last one. So John, Caleb, and Michael go home. And Charity, you could tell, like, she's getting to the point where she's getting upset that she's having to make, like, these cuts that she's making. And she was definitely very emotional during the majority of the cocktail party. So it will be interesting to see how that, you know, as we got more of a preview for the rest of the season, and we saw again like the bits of like what looks to be the finale where she says the whole thing about like you know you don't send home somebody that you love, like, etc. So I'm just intrigued to see how that goes.
Yeah, and I mean, in that same episode, we get a preview of the rest of the season, and there's like a clip of Aaron B being like, I don't know if I can go through with this or something. And it's just like, are you serious? Are you serious?
I know. I hate Aaron B's ass. I want him gone. But like, he's just so annoying to me.
I think
he had one good one-on-one date, and then he's gone downhill from there.
Yeah. That's kind of what sucks about getting attention early on in this game, because it's like it's kind of like a leg up. It's an advantage that you don't necessarily like know how to like appreciate. It's kind of like when people don't have to like ever work for their money, like they just like have money, so they don't appreciate things, or like I don't know how to explain it, but
it's just the entitlement.
Yeah. He just feels like he's essentially doing worse than stuff than Brayden was doing. Like,
Yeah.
And most likely he'll probably become the villain. Like, you know, to me, he already is. He's the villain. So,
I guess speaking of which, do we want to do our MVP and LVP?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with our LVP. LVP of the week. Not a good look for Aaron B. Aaron B has gotten my LVP 2 weeks
Twice in a row now.
So, yeah, I mean, he's just not looking good to me. I don't think there's any kind of like just his character and the way he's acting on the show. Like, it just, I don't see how he can come back from this look in my eyes. I'm hoping he does not.
I feel like he's.
I was just gonna say the only thing that could get him out of LVP. The only thing that would make me like him a little bit more, would him not get LVP again next week. Like, you know, if someone else got LVP, I'd be like, all right, there's actually other people here that are worse than Aaron B. But yeah. So
I think he's crossed over from being like, I think originally, you know, I think in Charity's mind he might be crossing over. I guess maybe not yet, but hopefully he does. Where he's crossing over from, you know, doing stuff because I think she's definitely looking for somebody who's gonna like fight for her, do whatever. And I think he's in the audience's eyes, or our eyes at least, he's crossed over from that to just like being a martyr to be a martyr because he thinks he's better than other people. And like, I wonder if she's gonna catch on to that. But
yeah, like the savior complex or something.
Yes, for real.
So that's your LVP as well. I'm going to go out saying Brayden is my MVP this week. I really just enjoyed his presence on the show. He was the best part of this season so far, and for him to leave early because of...
It's great TV.
Yeah, I just for him to leave early because he got bullied out, like, I just can't wait for a lead. And I tried to say this earlier, but, like, I can't wait for a lead. I think it has happened before, but I can't remember. For a lead to just be like, guys, stop talking about other people. Like, when we have time, I don't want to hear about other people's stuff in the house.
I feel like Rachel Lindsay maybe did that.
Yeah, somebody smart should do that because
Tayshia did, I think, too.
Yeah.
A lot of these other black women have. I think.
It's just because, like, you know, no one's gonna get your connection, and you have conversations with people, like, unless it's like egregious. Like, I don't like what I don't like is like, all right, they can come to her and tell her things, but I don't like how she has to go immediately and be like, and ruin every night, you know, with this information. Like, does it really ruin the night? Like, come on. Because one person, you got like 10 other guys there, like, figure it out the next day or something like that. But don't like keeping this dark cloud after every rose ceremony.
Well, I think she's just trying to process stuff and like in the moment. I'm not going to hate on her for that.
I don't know. To me, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Brayden. I would love to see Brayden as the Bachelor, to be honest. But the thing is,
I think he's definitely headed to the beach. I don't think he's gonna be the Bachelor.
He's going to be a hot commodity at the beach. But
for sure.
But the fact that he said he's not ready for marriage and all that stuff, like, I think kind of takes him out of the running of something like the Bachelor. But I think they would be very smart because the Bachelor leans more young anyways. So it's like, if you're going to lean into the young, then lead into the young. Like, I want to see...
Well, it leans more young women, not young men that are the leads.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is, if you get young women, have a young lead. You know, somebody that type of thing. But, I don't know, we'll see. The rest of the season looked a little interesting, like Shawn... Or what was they saying? They're talking about Joey. Like, do you know the authentic Joey? So I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know what that deal's about either.
But who was
my
your
MVP was Dotun.
Yeah.
But because I just think their connection is the most pure, most wholesome, most like really there. They seem to just have a deep understanding of each other. And honestly, I have to give an MVP just to like the editors and producers of the Sasquatch Brayden scene because it was incredible. And for the producer who asked Shawn, "Aren't you wearing a scarf?" because that was the best line I've heard ever in the show.
And they also made Jesse Palmer get his money's worth
into his Sasquatch suit.
Yeah. So, anything else coming out of Bachelor Nation this week?
This was a big week. So we had the reveal of the Golden Bachelor. His name is Gerry Turner. He's 71 years old from Indiana. He was married to the love of his life before she, died from an illness. So he has been single for I think like 6 years or something, and he really wants to find that love again. And so he's got 2 daughters and 2 granddaughters, and he's ready to hop in there. He looks young. He doesn't look, I think in real life now when they've been doing some of the interviews and press with him, the actual like photos of him, I feel like they maybe, made him look less gray or something. But I mean, he looks young in general. He looks great. So,
something about this, it's like, I feel like it's going to do good because it kind of feels like the original Bachelor,
Right.
Why can't this be an original Bachelor season?
Well, and I think it will because like the original Bachelor was before social media was really a thing. Mm-hmm. And so like for this age group, that's not really a thing. Like you're not going to get like clout chasing grannies. So, I think it's going to be more pure to the like finding love aspect because you're not going to have some of the drama that comes with the world we live in, the more modern, like young people world, because these people, they're,
I also
their
think,
intentions.
I also think like with this like writer strike and all actor strike and stuff, like I wonder if ABC saw this coming and like made this Golden Bachelor happen. Because like these reality TV shows are what's gonna thrive during these type of like strikes.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they saw it coming per se, or at least they're being able to capitalize on more momentum. Because I mean, they've been trying to do this for years and years and years.
That's
and
why
I think
I was like, it's weird that it just kind of like happened. Like I think they were talking about this since they did the musical one. So, which I thought was a good show. I thought it's weird how they do these one-offs and then they don't come back. But yeah, so we'll just have to see how it goes, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually like excited that we have another season of The Bachelor. I love 4 seasons a year. It really well rounds out this podcast. So, anyways, anything else?
Yeah, Clare Crawley and her husband are expecting their first baby via surrogate. So I guess the due date is early next year. So congrats to them. That's something that she's always wanted to do, is be a mom. Speaking of becoming a parent, Shawn Booth, Caitlin Bristow's ex and, winner from her season. But, they're most definitely not together, haven't been together for a while. He is expecting a child as well with, someone who he dated and whatever.
Sounded like a client. It sounded like one of his clients or something like that.
I know, he's like, the mother is someone who I've been close to for years. We've had a relationship and we've dated, which means they're not together right now. And this just isn't some random girl I met at Honky Tonk Central, LOL. This is a big surprise for both of us. To be open and honest, this wasn't something that was planned. It's a beautiful surprise. I can't wait. I'm ready. I'm 37-year-old. I've always wanted to be a dad. So
that's honest.
But he's been keeping her private, so that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
What
do you? How do you think Caitlin feels about this? He just started his new podcast. He's starting to reveal more things from his perspective. Now he just drops a baby on the world.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she gives a shit at this point because, like, that's I don't think where she's at in her life.
I think she gives a shit. I mean,
I think she gives a.
Would you?
But
like, I don't know. I think I don't know. Like, you hear about like an ex getting engaged or getting married or having a baby, like that type of stuff. Kind of like, if you're being honest, it's like, ooh. Because at one point you probably pictured you having a baby with this person, and now he just has it with like some random person,
or some random chick that he dated.
Yeah. So I wonder if she'll talk about it at all.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I don't know. Hey, have you been hearing before we wrap up Bachelor Nation stuff? Have you been hearing breakup rumors of Victoria Fuller and Greg Grippo?
I thought I did, actually. But
They
I feel like
haven't
they
been posting
posted
so much together, I feel like.
But then I thought they said something about that I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they were all like, no, we're still, like, our people, like, found that they're definitely still together, but
I think we're on breakup watch, so
breakup watch.
we'll keep an eye out for you guys over here at Future Bachelor. Anything else?
Yeah, because I'm guessing because of stuff with, like, the writer strike and the SAG-AFTRA strike and stuff like that, it looks like they're maneuvering around, ABC is maneuvering around their, could be unrelated, but I think it is, their scheduling, and so Bachelorette's getting pushed back to their primetime spot at 8 p.m. Eastern time next week, which I'm excited about because it definitely, that whole hour later was killing me. And it will be nice, and they're moving Claim to Fame after it. And
why would they put Claim to Fame before that? Like, it just makes no sense to me. Like, the only sense I can make of it is that, like, they were always planning on moving it back to 8 p.m. They really think they have something with this one show that I don't think is catching that much. You know, they think they have something there, but I don't know. I don't think it's that great of a show. And, you know, and then, you know, the numbers go up on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, you know, because more people.
Yeah, this has been a good season of Bachelorette so far, so maybe, you know, maybe that's talking.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Are you sad that Brayden has left? Are you not liking Aaron B as much as we don't for some reason? Are you excited about, you know, Gerry Turner, our Golden Bachelor, our first Golden Bachelor? Are you excited for his season? What do you think will come of it? Do you think there'll be young women in the mix? Well, I don't know. What do you think about Shawn Booth having a baby? How do you think Caitlyn feels? I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. How do you feel about the Bachelorette being at 8 o'clock again? I know I'm happy about it. So, you know, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll give you a shout out next week. And we'll be back with week 5.
Future Bachelor Podcast.